Hello, this is Malorian, and this is going to be a very interesting game that I had with my orcs versus a Beastmen army. Now, this game was against Sibo's Beastmen. I played him a couple times before, but some of the reasons why this game will be different is, first of all, this is part of a 10-game campaign that I've been doing with this uh, odd war boss setup of mine, where he is a Savage Orc war boss with the Battle Axe Laswa, where overall I was trying to win more games than I lost, and at this point, coming into the 10th game, I was at 4 wins and 5 losses. So no matter what, I was going to fail my campaign, but at least I can make things even. However, walking into this, Sibo wanted to try out the 8th edition rules. So we go ahead and we're going to do that. We had the book with us, so everything's going to be by the book as far as we did our best. And one of the things that had me worried is that whereas this is my standard 7th list, he went and built a list of Beastmen meant for 8th. It was kind of on the spot, so it's not like he had a lot of time to really flesh things out and make things as good as they could. But just having the access to all the new lores and items and actually having things in horde formation, I was gonna have to wait and see how this is actually gonna work out. So looking at this board here, first thing that hit me is there is a lot of terrain in 8th. That little vortex grenade in the middle, that's that little portal thing that hits magic against the closest unit every turn. The towers are going to be those things of heroes where if you're within 6 inches you're stubborn. The houses are just houses. Those little 40k barricades are going to count as walls. The woods in front of me, those were mysterious woods, turned out to be a poisonous thicket, so that kind of sucked. Looking at some of what we have lined up here, for myself, I have some orcs, my shaman chariot, some wolves, some more orcs, 2 chukkas, my Savage Orc Shaman attached to the Night Goblins, who now has to be on the outside because he's too big. And looking up at Sibo, he has some Ungor Raiders in the one hero building there, 2 chariots, some more raiders behind the house. Then he has a big unit of Gors, and there's a character in there. Then he has 1 Razagor, a big unit of 6 Minotaurs with great weapons, some Ungors with spears and horde formation. And then continuing with him, he had more raiders. Then he had some more Gors. These ones had shields and his beast lords in that unit. He had a spawn, and then he had his shaman in a unit of bestigors there. To explain the rest of this terrain, the tape there is actually the magic circle, which gives you 2 magic resistance 2. The little skull thing there, that's the grave thing where you're -1 leadership if you're too close. The rest of my units, I have the troll, I have some more war machines, chariot, more orcs, wolf riders, the shaman chariots at an angle because I ran out of room to place it effectively, a chariot, another chaka, and finally some orcs. So the mission here for this game is one where you have a certain amount of points for every banner in the army, and then 2 for the general. And when it gets down to a certain amount, you automatically lose. So since this is a 2250 point game, that's going to be, I believe it was 3 points. So basically once you're down to either like a general and 1 banner, you just lose. That's it. So for him, he was lucky. He didn't know the mission when he was making his army. He had lots of banners in there. I always have lots of banners, so that's going to be great. And looking for tactics going into this, it is going to be kind of odd, and as I don't really know a lot of things are going to happen. But basically, I think I can still beat that 1 horde of his on my own. I'm going to have to blast that Minotaur unit with everything I have, and otherwise, the Bestigors, I should be able to hit them with like multiple chariots and then do enough damage that with another block that I'll be able to break them. But overall, it seems to be more 7th tactics as usual, but we'll see what 8th throws at us. So he wins first turn, and he comes at me fast. You know, the chariots maybe not so much because they can't march, but everything else is just rushing right at me. And now I know that between how far he moved and how far he can charge, I'm going to be hit right away. In the magic phase, that little portal thing hit them with a fireball, the Minotaurs, but didn't do any damage. Um, that's really what happened there. And on this flank, you know, again, things just moving up. I like how those Bestigors seem to be bracing themselves. Not the Bestigors, the Beast Lord's unit is kind of braced up behind that wall, because if they want to be defensive while I fight everything else, that's fine with me. He tries to cast some magic, but I have a good amount of, you know, with the scrolls and stuff. He only has the one caster, and with my +4 to dispel, I was easily able to stop it. Now on my turn I decided to call my Wa already, and the reason for that is because I really wanted to get to that Razagor and tie him up and beat him before he causes trouble to us. So the one unit on the far left failed and some guys died. The one unit ran through the thicket, but the problem is that this silly poisonous thicket causes like a dangerous terrain, so a good amount of my orcs died going through it, and then I lost a few more into combat. And so when that Razagor finally broke and ran over there, I decided just to let it go, because if I ran through it, I just get even more hurt. And at least now when that Gore unit fights me, I'm going to have poison attacks, which will hopefully even those odds. I do a bunch of shooting at his Minotaurs while I try and just speed bump it with the Troll. So 2 of the Minotaurs are down, but in my magic phase, that little portal thing gave them +1 toughness and strength, so they're getting a little bit beefed up. On this other side, my savages rolled a 1 and I lost a couple, and really I'm just holding back. You know, I'm trying to go up and redirect there with the wolves, but otherwise I'm in no rush. You know, if I move up too quickly, he might decide to engage me with that Beast Lord, and I do not want to have that. Plus I need to deal with those Minotaurs carefully before I start taking on hordes and crazy things. So now on Beastmen turn 2, we learn about one of the real dangers of magic in 8th. He moves up his Bestigors, and the one spell his shaman had was the one that turns him into, you know, we can make him into big monsters. So he got that, got a double 6, so it had it automatically, right? He just turned into this thing, I couldn't stop it. But you also had to go on the miscast table. When we rolled on a miscast table, he did this huge blast that almost killed everybody in the unit of the Bestigors. Then it killed the mage himself, so there was no monster. And then this unit failed panic and never rallied. It was just gone. So not really worth it if you ask me. But yeah, just crazy to see how that big magic spell worked out. Apart from that, his chariots hit my wolves, beat them, and end up just where I wanted them to be. His unit of Gores go and beat up my Orcs, and I lose and have to run through that thing again and lose more guys from that dangerous terrain, and that actually then also panics the Orcs that were back there off the board, so that was no good. And then his Minotaurs kill the Troll and run into me again, so now I'm going to have to fight them with that big unit there. However, you'll see that I had that little banner in the back, and that's because the Minotaurs charged the Troll, the Ungors charged this big unit, and I actually beat the Horde and ran them down. So that whole Horde was beaten by my Night Goblins. And on this flank, of course, with that Horde gone and his Bestigors gone, things are looking pretty thin. His spawn charged at my wolves, and I fled and got away, and now that Beast Lord unit is just kind of out of the way, and they're either going to have to move, or, you know, they might just want to stay there because I have a lot of units to engage it now. And so otherwise that's pretty much it, and I'll cover up the rest of this battle in the next video along with my thoughts on 8th. So see you then.